Hello and welcome to MCFC 9320 PUBcast. I'm back hosting tonight. Thanks for John for filling in the gap, as it were, for the past couple of weeks. Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Everybody.
May I say, John, what a wonderful job you did as well.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Right, I'm just going to turn the hosting back to John. I know what. How are we?
That's a make of a phone, that, isn't it?
I'm the funny one, not you.
We'll take a vote on that.
Oh, you're just still a bit annoyed just because Riz is married, so calm down, Anne-Marie.
Anyway,
No, I
Andy,
was married in Gambia, so I can have two wives.
I want to start this conversation off with the topic of atmosphere.
Atmosphere, yeah. Go for it.
And lack of it.
What, from the South Stand on Friday night? I totally agree, mate.
The South Stand were trying.
They're trying, yeah. Go on.
But
I think that the whole lot of the stadium in the first half.
the whole stadium was quiet.
In the first half.
To be honest with you, the game was not much to shout about, really.
But it's the point. We're going back to last week. I thought that was the point. We shout because we're the famous South Stand, and the players rise to it.
I don't think that was the point that was being made. I think that was the point you were trying to make. The point I was trying to make is that if the South Stand don't sing, no other part of the ground does.
Well,
No, Andy, but you shouldn't be in the family stand, mate. You're a grown man with a grown adult son.
I wasn't.
That's for young families who are getting used to it and getting the kids into it. You should not be in the South Stand.
I wasn't.
You should be in the South Stand.
I said I shouldn't be, mate.
I got me norths and my souths mixed up.
I wasn't.
Lost my bearings.
On Friday night, I wasn't in the South Stand or the North Stand or the
Stand. He wasn't. It was in 93-20.
I was actually tormenting Roy Keane and Ian Wright, I'll have you know.
Well,
yeah, and
there's a surprise.
And on that point, lovely to see a nice unbiased panel on ITV.
Don't know, I was there.
I don't know, I didn't see it.
Sam, what's your take?
Well, no,
what's it like?
But like you say, Roy Keane and Ian Wright. Ian Wright played for Arsenal. Roy Keane is a United player. So
who represented City.
Yeah.
We will argue that it was Lee Dixon on the comms. But
well, that's a joke.
Another Arsenal player, not quite having Lee Dixon. He's admitted himself really that his affections with Arsenal, which is fair enough. Played there, he's won the league with him.
What's up with you all tonight?
What are you on about?
So does it matter? Right. The players don't know who's doing commentary. The players don't know who the pundits are. Is that going to affect the performance on the pitch?
Yes, it's the
karma.
It's a fan podcast, this, isn't it? So there are a lot, apart from the 50-odd thousand that were in the ground, or 48,000, I think, with tickets, there was a lot of people who had to endure watching it on ITV. My missus watched it, and she said it was a completely biased commentary, based on being all about Arsenal. She said, and there was nobody there which of them played for City. She said, so it is a valid thing, and it is something to talk about because it's shocking.
Yeah, but aren't we used to that now?
Yeah, and apparently TV rules, done it. That's what everything gets sorted out for, isn't it, for TV?
Yeah.
They don't give a sod about us fans. So
match-going fans, it means nothing to us. And if you're a home match fan, it's even worse.
Yeah, and that's why you're in the ground on a Friday night, and Arsenal have had to come up during the day for it.
Yeah.
Wake up 3 o'clock Saturday, end of.
At least they went back with their tails between the legs.
Fair play to Arsenal, though. Fair play to Arsenal. They came up. There was 8,000 of them, and they played their part in the atmosphere.
Yep.
Away fans always do, basically because they've been drinking since 3 o'clock in the morning. So that is why away fans always have a big day out, because it is a big day out and most of them are drunk.
Yeah,
So
they make the most of it. Simple as.
The fact that they separated the sort of like I'm going to call them left and right of the away fans are behind the goal, because they separated them with people who'd been moved from their seats on tiers 2 and 3, and it was full of people watching the game behind their camera phones and iPads. The atmosphere again was destroyed.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right, Riz. Going back to the camera phones, I made a point of it on Twitter. It's unbelievable. And these were City fans right near the end as well. When Arsenal got a corner, like that, and I just glimpsed down to the woman who was in front of me, and she's uploading it to Snapbook, whatever.
No.
Snapbook.
No, but unfortunately, we have to accept that for the likes of FA Cup games, Carabao Cup games, we're always going to get the one-off, one season a game,
League games,
one game a season. It's going to happen. There's nothing we can do about it.
I know people have to catch trains, this, that, and the other, but leaving like 10 minutes to go when the game's on a knife edge, they can't use because the kids are at school, tomorrow.
Yeah, but Andy, that's their choice. If they want to leave early, it's up to them. I'm not bothered. Anybody can leave early. I'm not bothered. It doesn't bother me. As long as I stay to the end and watch the game, that's all I'm bothered about. I don't bother it. They lose. It's their choice to lose. Not see the end of the game.
I'm with you, John. I agree with that. It would be my choice to stay till the very end of the game, till the last players walk back down the tunnel. That's my choice. I also get that people do have to go and get trains and different things because they do stop running at a certain time for certain places. So if they've made the effort to get to the game and they have to go 10 minutes early, fair play to them. At least they've turned up.
Yeah.
It's the people that come in late, try to grab the last pint, go early at half time, come back late after half time.
Having a go at you,
in answer to that, and in my opinion on all what we've just talked about there, I'm with you, John. Andy, it annoys me. I'll get that. It does annoy me. I hate to see it. Visually, it looks terrible for all the people watching it on telly to give them ammunition to have a go at us. But sticks and stones and all that.
But we're not the only ground it happens at.
Oh no! But it just seems to be. It annoys me. But anyway, it bugs me. But it's their choice. They pay the money. You pay your money. You take your chance. The half time thing is purely down to the Man City's concourses are an absolute shambles, and I've been saying this since we've been in the Etihad. It's not got any better. Year in, year out, it's shocking. And I'll lay this challenge down to whoever is in charge of giving out the contracts to these companies. I and my friends will run the concourses, and we will take all profits that we make for the next 2 seasons. And I tell you now, I will retire a very, very, very rich man in 2 years' time, because they haven't got a clue how to do a match day concourse. Whoever it is that's doing it hasn't got a clue. We leave.
Spot on.
If you want a beer, that's every man's and woman's God-given right. So it's part of the match day experience for a lot of people, believe it or not. And if it wasn't for the beer, you would have an even less atmosphere than we've got. So we have to leave. One of us will go out at half time, about 5 or 10 minutes before the half, to be able to get the beers in, so that when the game finishes at half time, we can go out, get the beer, and have a chance to drink it in the time that we're given. If we go out at half time, by the time we've got our beers or pies or hot dogs or whatever you want to get, by the time we've got them and the game started, the number of goals that we miss in that concourse because we're having a pint, which is nothing wrong with it. It's not illegal. It's what most, I would say the majority of people in that ground have a drink or go to the toilet or whatever at half time. And you can't get back in. You can't, unless you leave early and come back late, you ain't getting a pint or a drink or refreshments or whatever. And that is down to the concourse is an absolute shambles.
Isn't that more down to the staff though than the actual contractors? Yeah, listen.
But who supplies the staff?
No, I get.
Who gets the staff?
Yeah, they're garmless. You know, I'm sorry if anybody who works there who attempts to serve beer or anything like that, or hot chocolate or anything, you're all garmless. You know what I mean? How can it take so long to serve somebody? You go in a Mary D's or something like that, straight away they've got them things what pour 12 pints.
Yeah.
But you get there going, oh, hang on, I'm just going to tie my shoelace.
How much?
Wake up, for God's sake.
Yeah. They try to speed it up by making it cashless, and it just made it even worse.
They've not made it cashless, they've made it garmless. Yeah,
it is. And it's the club could make an absolute fortune. We don't bother having a drink most halves now. We come in late because we can get cheaper beer outside the ground. We can have proper beer as opposed to the nonsense that they serve up at much reasonable prices. And then we leave the ground at the end and we go off and go to the Connor Club and have a beer there. But you can have a proper beer, a sit down, dissect the game. They used to do it where some of the concourses stayed open at the end so you could stay in there and wait for the rush of cars to go and then drive home nice and quickly, as opposed to being sat in the traffic.
No, that's only corporate now that do that.
Obviously,
exactly.
Obviously,
no, but even City Square used to be open longer. And while it is open there for the beer, there's nothing on. Now that they're doing all this City TV stuff inside the stadium, there's nothing on for the fans that are still there after the game.
Yeah.
It's turned into a bit of a joke.
And the content that's on that City TV, I mean, I've seen it a few times. I prefer to sit in a queue to go to the toilets that everybody's smoking in, to be honest.
Any particular reason, Riz?
Shocking. It's childish. It's like watching CBeebies. It's so, isn't it?
I don't watch it anymore.
I don't anymore. I don't watch it anymore now, but I think halftime entertainment, they tried doing it a little bit old school on Friday.
Yeah.
With the penalty thing, and that just didn't work.
I tell you what's missing at halftime. Mike McLean.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
They've got Wingman back, I noticed.
Yeah.
I noticed Wingman was there doing his bit.
He's been back for a bit, actually.
Yeah.
Has he?
Yeah.
Well, Mike McLean, he was one of the reasons where you watched the entertainment at halftime, because it was all tongue-in-cheek and stuff like that. You know, innuendos were great where kids won't understand it, and
it was pantomime, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh no, it wasn't.
I think you find it was.
Oh no, it wasn't. So yeah, I don't know how we started off talking about atmosphere and stuff like that. I thought it was okay on Friday night, but you know, like you said before, is Arsenal made a huge contribution with that 8,000. You know, fair play to them on on a Friday night. You know, all that way. Shame they went back. You know, like John said.
And I'll say something as well, that there wasn't any trouble, was there, Riz?
No, we didn't see any throwing beers down, spitting. Or anything like that we've seen from Chelsea fans. Did you notice
what they did with the second tier, though?
They had stewards.
They had stewards all the way along.
The front row, and then four
rows backwards, all covered up so they couldn't go there.
Yeah.
But it's a bit like closing the barn door once the horse is bolted. You know what I mean? They should have done that with Liverpool and Chelsea.
Well, you know, if they'd have bothered asking anyone with a bit of brain, they'd have told them that was going to happen.
Yeah.
But likewise, they don't, because there's always somebody with a clipboard that knows better, isn't there?
Oh, yeah.
It did kick off, by the way.
Did it?
Yeah, I think Arsenal fans were in the this just you know where I sat in the 93.
Yeah.
Just to the left of me, where on the corner, if you like.
Yeah.
Yeah, where that pub is.
It kicked off there because Roy Keane, Ian Wright, and that PUBcast was all there laughing their heads off watching it, and the stewards were just going in like a bit crazy. But that's football. You get that every single ground.
There was also fighting. The ginnel that goes from the Etihad down to the Townley.
We're going back to the 80s.
Up your ginnel.
Yeah, the ginnell. Everybody knows what a ginnell is. Well, kind of.
She used to do athletics, didn't she? For
Yeah, she looked like him that played for Arsenal.
Okay, do you know the pathway that leads from the Etihad to the Townley pub?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
There was
near
all
the ginnel.
fighting in there as well. Arsenal fans and City fans.
Oh, that ginnel.
Yeah, that ginnell.
Don't know it.
Can I just say as well, that is not a cardboard cutout of Stan either.
I know he can actually move and speak. I don't know if he can hear us though.
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just.
Oh right.
He's mesmerised, aren't you? You're mesmerised, Stan.
Yeah, it's difficult. I'm glad to hear that nothing's changed since the main road days. People coming in late, going home early, can't get a pint.
Yeah.
Can't get Bovril and crisps anymore, but
Oh, you can get Bovril.
can't get your Savoy and whatever it is they're selling the prawn cocktails of today.
They brought Bovril back.
Stan, but did you notice Rizzy's rant came from protecting himself from Anne-Marie's dig about people at half time?
Hey, it's a talking point. This is what the terraces are talking about.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Right, I mean, you're living in some godforsaken hole in the middle of nowhere. You've got to get a train to somewhere, and then you've got to get another train to go to somewhere else where, like you say, it's getting rarer.
And the way the trains are at the moment, it's anybody's guess, isn't it?
Have we turned into train spotters or something?
No, we're talking about getting in and out of the ground, which is what
you can't spot any trains. They're not moving.
No, they're always
on strike.
Not everybody can into the 90, whatever it is, sweep from some butler in the ground in the limo.
Yes, Dan. As I was saying, they brought Bovril back.
Good.
But they haven't brought Hot Vimto back.
Disgusting.
But Vimto's actually changing the name of it, aren't they?
Are they?
It's a Vimto.
They're putting a P in it. I don't mean
no.
Oh, they're not peeing in it. They better not be peeing in it. I love the taste of Vimto. Tasting of sugar puffs.
It did used to taste a bit watered down when they did it, didn't it? But that's another story. So let's get on to the football Friday. It wasn't brilliant the first half, but it
was cagey.
Alvarez coming on made all the difference.
Yeah, he did.
He
harassed him.
I thought Rodri was shocking first half, but I thought he was brilliant second half. But listen, we're going to get teams like Arsenal. Let's give Arsenal a little bit of credit here. They will take some catching this season. In the league. I was just glad to get away with a victory there because they're a good self. And they made 6 changes as well. Against arguably the strongest lineup we had. Available. So they deserve a lot of credit. Did anybody catch what Pep said in his post-match? He was asked the question of, us putting our strongest team out and Arsenal not. And he went, oh, well, we had... He didn't even mention Foden. He mentioned the players who were out and by the surname, but he actually went Mr.
Cancelo.
And I thought that was some sort of a... Ooh.
Yeah, it did sound like a coded dig. Maybe.
Quite possibly.
Perhaps he said, you don't call me Cancelo, call me Sir.
Yeah, maybe, I'm a Portuguese international. I should be playing, give me a little bit of respect. Okay, Mr. Cancelo, being sarcastic.
Right, it might not be popular, but I'm not a huge fan of Bernardo Silva anymore, right? But I thought when he come on, he was all right. Credit where it's due. I think Gundogan, his head's already in Barcelona. There's just something fundamentally not right.
Gundogan is in the process of extending his contract.
You heard it first. It's from Celebrity John, so it must be true.
Press. I believe he will be at Barcelona.
Okay.
Tell you one thing though. One thing that I always wonder is why we hold our team and club to so much more higher scrutiny. Now, he was right there, Pep. Now, some of them players that were on the bench, they're not in form, but they can play in the team. You know, we've got league champions, we've got all sorts in there. We've got Foden who's won the league, this, that, and the other. You say, oh well, Arsenal made 6 changes. Well, we can make 6 changes every match, and yet we're expected to just get on with it. Now, they still have 4 of their strikers. You know, you can't turn around and say, oh, they're a bit stronger if Saka plays. Well, he did start. Well, what
He
about
played, didn't he? He was. Aki had him in his pocket.
Did he
Exactly.
play Saka?
Saka started? Eddie started up front for them. Partey started. And then Martinelli came on. Trossard's not an idiot. So they've got a good team, and I'll give them a lot of respect that they didn't put 9 men behind the ball. They did want to play football. That's where they get the respect. But at the end of the day, if we put out our 11 of the team that was in form, because again, you know, we can rotate, because if somebody like Bernardo hasn't been playing well, and you can bring in somebody else, and who would you pick if you had the choice of absolutely on form, Grealish or Foden?
Grealish.
On form.
Grealish.
No, not now. Foden when he's
No,
absolutely.
don't I say, you asked the question. I'm not just going to go, oh, Foden, because on form,
Yeah.
Grealish every day of the week.
I wouldn't. What about the rest of you?
I'd say they're
I'm
quite
forgetting-
equal, to be honest.
I'm
Yeah.
forgetting what an on-form Foden's done because I've not seen it pretty much all season, if I'm being honest.
No.
No, that's fair enough. But on an on-form one, it's not going to be the huge gap that we'd make out. So at the end of the day, why can't they pull out teams? It's not as though we're skint. You know, why do we say, oh, it happened again today with the women, it happens right through the club. You know, United won 2 on the way at Sunderland. Nothing. City win 7-0. Ah, well, we're expected to do that. It's not easy putting in 7 goals in a game. And it goes right through the club. Every set of fans that we've got, not picking at something. Nothing's
Privileged. They think that we should be putting 7 past every team.
Pep was
Spoiled.
right. Pep was
spoiled.
right in what he said when Pep came out with that. People are calling it a rant, aren't they? But it wasn't a rant. It was very measured. He was right. We've all got complacent. Even I've got complacent because I sit watching City and we're getting beat 2-0. I don't think anymore. Sort of like, oh, we're gonna get levered here. I sort of think, oh, we could pull this back because we've seen it time and time again. We're not. I'm not as concerned. I've still got them nerves, obviously, the same old City, and I still got that in my head. But I deep down now think that we've got the skill and the capabilities to pull these games back. So Pep's right. We have got complacent.
That game against Tottenham,
I'm going to agree.
was 2-0 down, and Rhiannon turned around to me and she says, "I wish he had to come now." I said, "Look, we're going to beat him 4-2," and she laughed at me.
Yeah,
and we did. She said,
"Yeah."
Everyone laughs at you, John.
You're like Clinton Baptiste, aren't you, John?
Yeah.
Psychic John.
It wasn't long ago.
Telepathetic.
There was absolute full-blown meltdowns not long ago about when City are 1-0 down at half-2, not won since 1407. Do you think they can do it? We go 2-0 down after 10 minutes and we're thinking 6-2, then I thought it might be 6-0 today, but it'd be 6-2. Nobody's done. No, that's not being slack. That is just how far we have gone.
Yeah.
And is it the last 5 times we've been behind 2-0, we've won it, or we've not lost it?
No, Southampton beat us 2-0.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the
Well,
first.
I get your point, Riz, and as well, you know, there's that expectation now where, like, last game of last season against Villa, 2-0 down, you never really felt as if that was the end when they went 2-0 up, Villa, did you?
No.
Hey, Andy, I'm going by. Do you want a drink? We're in the pub, aren't we?
Yeah. What do you want?
A pint, yeah, a pint of lager then.
Pint of lager, no problem. So,
And have a Jaeger bomb.
Shots all round. Andy, get his pink stuff out.
sorry,
Oh, we don't want to see Andy's pink thing.
you want drink?
Oh, there we are. See, you know what? I actually thought that shelf was a lot further away.
Yeah, I didn't know. It
I
looks
didn't realise
quite...
you could.
Are they all
reach over
miniature
to it.
bottles?
Yeah,
No.
I thought that was about
In fact,
3 foot away.
chat on. I'm just getting something for Patrick.
Oh,
Pink stuff. He's getting his pink stuff out.
Be careful what you ask.
So yeah, I thought the first half was very subdued,
Careful what
very
you
cagey.
stop. He's
Yeah,
got
big
Yeah,
Gilbert
it was.
Brown for his tequila
I think
rosé.
both teams were just testing each other out.
Yeah,
But when you say about Alvarez coming on, he's the only one that actually took a shot from distance.
yeah, he did.
And
And the
that
goal
shot
came
then
from it,
led
didn't
to
it?
the goal. Because we were crying out for that.
What was with the new long ball thing?
I don't know. Arsenal set up to play a long ball because they left their midfield on the bench.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
but
think Pep,
We were just all we were doing was pinging long balls.
I know.
Hits and miss balls.
I
Now,
think
I'm
I
all
was
for
giving them
that.
a respite, if I'm honest, because they played well, mate. So while the ball's over there, it's just time to
Yeah,
get back.
but we were doing it. We were doing it all the wrong times. We were instead of mixing it up with old style of play, as in the false number 9 and all that, and then knocking a couple of balls over to hold the defenders and hold the midfield and just try something different. We just kept obviously hitting long balls, hopeful hit and hope balls over, and it was so frustrating. I don't mind him doing it, but mix it up with something different. And they were just banging these balls, and it was like they were just dealing with it.
I reckon it's Pep's following you again instead
Right,
of
Riz, again, I totally agree with you. We was doing it at the wrong time because there was plenty
Yes.
of times when Haaland had already split the centre half.
Yeah,
and there was
he made the run.
made the
Nothing.
run, and we
Yeah.
didn't do it. But when the two centre backs were on him, we was doing it. And
Yeah.
Haaland got kicked up and down on Friday night.
Yeah,
So,
he did.
fair play to him. Right,
Two men on him.
before we talk about like the actual bit of football, I want to discuss Rico Lewis. Right now, see, I might get a lot of stick for this. I don't think Pep is doing him any favours. I had this discussion with somebody where Rico Lewis is turning in a bit of an Ian Brightwell, if you like. You'll never get his proper position, which could in turn hinder his international career, because I think he's restricting some of the De Bruyne space as well by playing in that position. And I think even when Walker come on, Walker made one little bit of an error right near the end, but Walker made a difference when he come on, when Walker more or less retrieved into that right back, if you like. Whereas Lewis is not. I know it's Pep's instruction. It's not Lewis's fault. I'm not having to go at Lewis at all. But I think with Lewis playing in that position, it's hindering De Bruyne, our midfield.
See, I don't think that De Bruyne is running like he should be at the moment, and I think that Pep is putting Lewis in there to do his running for him. And that's why you might find him in the spaces where De Bruyne is, because the Lewis is cleaning up the balls that De Bruyne used to clean up with.
Okay, against who do we play? Against Wolves, Rico went off at half time. Yeah.
Yep.
De Bruyne had an outstanding second half, in my opinion, and I think the same happened in the Spurs game. I think when Rico went off, De Bruyne looked good. I just think there's something not quite right there. Let De Bruyne exploit that position there, because he's done it season after season. I don't know.
Every time the Lewis goes off, there's also a change in positions.
Well, discuss that was just my opinion. Go on.
Yeah, when Lewis goes off, there is a change in positions, and because he was doing right back, but he drops into midfield. Well, then
No, but then, just for me, I think we do need to be careful with Rico Lewis, because I thought on Friday night he looked slightly out of his depth, because he was getting caught in midfield with Trossard running down the left wing, and it was pulling John Stones out of position. And while I think he's got an absolutely amazing future ahead of himself, I just wish Pep would let him concentrate on one or other position.
That's what I'm
Not
saying.
expect him to do both.
Yeah.
I thought he got bullied a bit on Friday.
Yeah,
And
he
I
did. There
think
was two on him all the time.
Yeah, and I think when Walker came on, he ain't getting bullied. His pace, and he's a big lad, and that made the difference.
Winning headers.
Well, not the only difference, but that made a difference. So yeah, we sort of called it, saying that he was like you said there, Anne-Marie, little bit out of his depth. He was coming up, against, well, let's have it right. He's coming up against the title leaders, wasn't he? The Premiership leaders. So yeah, but I agree. I think we've just got to be careful with younger players. It's he can be made be broken, but I think he's got a good head on his shoulders, Rico Lewis. I think I don't think he's in the same mental state as what Phil Foden's in. I think Phil Foden's very weak mentally.
He's little head.
I think the big thing with
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I think the big thing with Rico on Friday was that you've got to remember who he is and the stage of his development. Clearly, Walker's an old man. He's not going to get bullied. But I think this was the hardest test Rico Lewis has had. So he probably wouldn't get quite a big a score as you'd expect him to get. But I think he did very, very well. There was only one chance that Trossard got over where you thought, I'm not sure about that. But he's worked hard. He's a young lad. He's only a small lad.
He is.
The times he gets kicked up in the air tells you that he's a whatever he's doing it right. Because,
like I said, Stan, it wasn't just Friday. I thought against Wolves as well. And
no, I'm just concentrating on him here, not his relationship.
And as we said, nobody's having a go at Rico Lewis here. I'm proud he plays for us, and he, like Anne-Marie said, he's got a fantastic future. I just think we could hamper a little bit his development by asking too much of him at the moment.
If you just a question,
stretched, can't you?
I know Rico Lewis is coming on in leaps and bounds, but why is Palmer not coming on that quick?
I think he's gone backwards since last season, in my opinion.
Palmer,
I don't know what's going on with Palmer.
Palmer, for me, psychological again. He can tell by his body language, or I read into his body language, he doesn't quite believe that he should be in that team yet. To me, he looks like he's still overawed, and he doesn't feel that he should be in that team. He looks around him and sees Kevin De Bruyne and Haaland and players like that, and I still don't think he can believe it. He looks a little bit like a rabbit caught in the headlights sometimes, and he does all the right stuff, but then cocks it up at the final bit. He makes a mess of, because I think it's as though he looks up, sees the pressure, and thinks, "Oh God," and then his bottle goes a bit.
I think you've summed perfectly together. That's exactly what we speak about in the family stand and stuff.
Yeah, well, you will do. You better. Surprised people don't tell you to shut up, to be honest.
Yeah. In it, that you got to be careful of when you've got kids coming through. That some kids they just seem to go to it like a duck to water. They've gone. Then in about a year, you might sort of like struggle a little bit, whereas other kids struggle a little bit. Then something in their head will click. They might score a lucky goal, or they'll see, hang on a minute, I know what I mean now. I can't hold the ball up. I've just got to get rid of it because I know Mahrez will be down there, or whoever it is. It doesn't matter. And it just takes one or two little things. And I think you're right there that Palmer was it. I was watching the two lads today for Sheffield United. Where the pair of them were on today for the first half, Sheffield were in control. Once McAtee went off at half time with his injury, not quite the same. But I think those two lads, if they came back in, they wouldn't be the, not the frightened fouls that you'd expect. But they've been out a bit, haven't they? They've been up against men, they've played against men. They know.
I don't think they'd be anywhere near our bench, if I'm honest, mate.
Not, no, probably not. You're probably right. But what the point I'm making is that two people, Callum Doyle's another one. He's signed to 2027 now.
Yeah.
So you're seeing something in him that he's getting that maturity. It also helps if you're a big fella anyway. Tall and strong. Like your Rooney's in your Ireland, you're going to go in there. But David Silva took a long time to get going.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. One that's puzzling me is Borges. You see him playing for the under 21s and that lot, and he's a winger, and he's flying, and he scores lots of goals, but he can't get anywhere near that first team for some strange reason.
I think he'll be gone shortly, by the way.
You reckon?
He might have a...
Then he'll come back to haunt us.
No, but then again, if he wants 50 grand a week, what do you do?
I think Cole Palmer, he very much reminds me, and now having spoke to David White and read his books and stuff like that, I think he's like David White. I think he's got that confidence issue where, David White said, he had this major issue where, there was some games where he was unplayable. But then other games, someone would shout something in the stadium or he'd read something and it completely ruined him. He couldn't kick a ball, he couldn't run.
It could go from a world beater to a panel beater, couldn't it?
Absolutely. So, maybe there's a bit of that in there. You don't know. He's
Thing is, as time's gone on, we've found out why David White was like that, though, haven't we?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It was nothing to do with him. It was actually what happened to him.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. It's got that ring to it, that sort of mental attitude kind of thing. And I'm for whatever reason, I don't know, but I'm not saying anything in that. I'm just saying that he seems to have that where sometimes you look at him and you're thinking, oh my God, he's a world beater, and then the next time he plays, he's rabbit in the headlights. So. He's one of them, you just got to watch this space. But I think there's a lot of people on social media, and you might read it. You might read it, and you might, and there's a lot of people seem to get on his back for some reason because he's not Phil Foden. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I think the big difference between the David White era and say the era now is it's well documented that Swales didn't treat. You only have to look at what happened with Lakey and stuff like that. It wasn't really looked after, during that era. Whereas all the different sports science and psychologists and stuff like that, what's going now, he's not at a better. Well, there's no better club to be at for him than to have that, carry on being nurtured and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, but
I get that.
If you suffer from imposter syndrome, which is what it is, where you think you shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Like, wow, why have I got that gig?
Is that what prisoners suffer with?
If it's coming from you, that's how you are. It takes a lot of work from a psychologist to get that out. To say to you, you're actually there because you are good.
Yeah.
So it's not because he's all right or he's your mate or your dad said this or anything like that.
Yeah.
Really, really good. And you're in there, and it's like, what is it? Less than 0.1% make it as a player.
Yeah.
You're in that less than. And for some people, just that alone, I think Michael Johnson had a bit of that as well. Suddenly it just got...
Yeah.
And imagine Michael Johnson now, sort of like under Pep and, all the like the sports science and the psychologists and stuff like now. Maybe he would have made it. He would
have done it. He'd have been world class.
What people would have liked to see Stephen Ireland. You knew there was mental issues there, turning around and saying his grandma's died and then his other grandma, and you're like, these aren't, these can be checked. Was it his granddad, not his grandma, whoever it was?
No, his grandma, wasn't it? It was his grandma died 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, and it's like, hang on,
in one season.
What's going on? These are easily verifiable checks, and yet in your head, you've got something in there. He didn't want to play for Ireland because it was all a bit rough. maybe he was all right playing in Manchester because he wasn't in Ireland and he was away from his home environment, whereas Cole Palmer's not. He's only down the road, isn't it? You don't know, but you've got all these things and you can't just throw them out and say, well, that doesn't matter. Because if it's in your head, it's in your head.
Psychology is massive.
Right.
I think we need to give a massive shout out to Aki.
Oh, I was just going to say that.
What a game he had.
He's always just going to say it, isn't he? You know what I mean?
No,
Always,
honestly, I was just about to say I want a special mention to Nathan Ake. I'm not about just his goal. He had Saka in his pocket,
yeah.
but he's been like that all season. How close was we of getting rid of him? You know, to Newcastle or even Chelsea. You know, in the summer. Wow, we would be kicking ourselves now because he's unplayable at times. His positioning, his tackling, his first class, and I think him and Akanji link up absolutely brilliantly together.
Yeah.
It was good seeing Zinchenko back at the Etihad.
Yeah, he got a good reception as well.
Yeah, he got a good reception, and he should have got a red card as well.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. I missed that.
He got a yellow, and then he did a blatant block on somebody, and that should have been another yellow. So he should have got a red card.
Well, I'm glad he didn't get a red card.
Well, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, listen, he don't play for City anymore, does he? And I was absolutely devastated to see him go because he got it being a City fan.
Yeah.
He was like a Zabaleta kind of character in that way. Decent lad, proper lad, but he couldn't get a regular place at City. The position he favoured, basically, he wasn't good enough for us. You know, and I think we went out of our way to kind of accommodate him in a sense. So he's been getting all this like, since he's gone to Arsenal, he's this, that, and the other. No, he's just playing more games, and he's playing in a setup that isn't the same as the setup at City. You know, as in, you know, the technical abilities that you need to play in the City team isn't the same as what you need to play in Arteta's team. You know, it's very difficult playing in that City setup. It's so hard. You know, you see it week in, week out. It's different. So not taking anything. Well, yeah, I'm not taking anything away from him, but people seem to think it was sort of like, it's the biggest mistake we ever did getting rid of him. I don't think it was. I think it was good for both parties, to be honest. You know, and fair play to him.
Our mistake was letting him go to Arsenal.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're coming on to a question I was going to ask you there, Paul. At the start of the season, how many people do you think would have said letting Zinchenko was the wrong one or letting Ake was the wrong one? And I think it'd have been fairly close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Probably more people saying Ake should have gone. I'm going back to the start of the season.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Now, if Ake has come on so much and Zinchenko's still doing what Zinny does best, I think Ake's got it because for the reasons that you're saying that he can fit into that Pep system a little bit better. He's keeping out of the team as well, isn't he? Really, and that's not.
And Marie, you broached the subject. What's your thoughts on Ake? Is it pretty much reflect what we've been saying?
Oh yeah, I would say so. I think even last season you could see it because he'd had time to settle in and get used to our way of playing, and he just seems to be getting better and better. I thought Friday night, I thought it was brilliant because he had Saka in his pocket. There was nothing, you know, he didn't bother me. You know, I thought he was going to be.
I don't even know Saka were playing, to be honest.
Because when Laporte's playing out there on the left, he's always got a tendency to make that rash tackle and miss it and get caught. Whereas Ake's more of a defender, isn't he? You know, he
just seems more composed.
He's got the nous to get back and his positioning. I think he's an absolute quality player, Ake.
Ake's your old-fashioned defender, whereas Laporte's more of a ball-playing modern defender.
Yep.
So he has got a rick in him, Laporte. There's no doubt about that.
So
Before
any
we
news
move
on John Stones yet? Is it his hamstring?
hamstring, I believe.
Yeah.
We reckon now. We miss him.
Listen,
Shame, innit?
before we move on to the transfer window closing on Tuesday, is it? I've not seen City women today.
I forgot it was open.
What?
I forgot
What,
it was
City
open.
women?
All right.
Oh, the transfer window.
City women today. Again, they just blew Sheffield United away, didn't they?
Yeah.
7-0, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it City? Was it City were good? Obviously, I've not seen the game. Was City good or was Sheffield United bad? Or
I think Sheffield United played as well as they could, but they're in the level below. And you should be turning teams like that over 7-0.
You can only beat what's in front of you. You know it.
Absolutely.
It's football.
I'm pleased Bonnie got an hat-trick because she looks as though she's had one in her for weeks and it's just not quite, ball's bounced the wrong way or someone's got a foot in the way or something's just gone a bit wrong for her, but she's got that now.
But I'm not stirring here. I'll let you answer this one, Anne-Marie. Gareth Taylor's still not got the backing of everybody, has it? I'm not winding you up here, by the way. You know, I've seen it when we drew 1-1. Who did we draw 1-1 with now? Not too long. Was it Villa?
Aston Villa last week.
And there was still questions being asked of him, even though he's hold me hands up. He's done pretty good this season. Considering how we started and stuff, but he's still not got the full backing of the fans.
and I've heard he's not got the full backing of the players as well.
He's got the full backing of the players. There's absolutely no doubt about that. They come out,
You think?
without a shadow of a doubt, they come out. Bobby Shaw come out with it today about the goats helping her. Gareth Taylor's been doing a good job. Sean Goldie was saying the same. The only ones that aren't happy with him are the ones that just don't want him in no matter what he does. Won 13 out of 15.
Like Andy.
And some people aren't happy with him. I posed the question last week that if you get a new manager in, who, as a manager, will go to a club that has sacked a manager who's won 13 out of the last 15? You're not going to go there because you think it doesn't matter what I do. They're just not going to be pointless. Now, apparently, he's out of contract in May, so they might let him go then. In which case, if they do, fair enough, they've done the right thing. They can get who they wanted and do another. What's it called? Washover, makeover, whatever. But that team he's got now, it's all right. It's fine. It's fine.
Where are we in the league?
Is it fourth?
Are we fourth?
Yeah. We were third last year, weren't it? It's just United. We were fourth at this point last year.
Who would you like City ladies to go for manager-wise? I knew I would love them to go and get
England.
And the England manager.
I tell you now, the FA would put a block on that.
Why? It's up to them and her. Of course it is.
No, it's not.
All down to that. It's all down to money.
No, she's got
Not so much in the women's game.
She's got an agreement with the thing out, and they'll just hold us a contract.
I agree, Stan. I think it's impossible unless her contract runs out with England, which it won't because she signed a new deal.
Yeah.
Forget that one. Who is the out there? If Gareth Taylor does go.
Well, this is the other one, and all the best ones are in jobs out there. There's nobody floating around.
Colo Toure.
Yeah, who got sacked for not winning the game.
Has he been sacked as Wigan manager?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
After 59 days.
Yeah.
No
Lost 5, drew 3, was it, or something?
To be fair though, the director doing that dancing Yaya wasn't there. He looks alright, Phil. No wonder they got rid of him.
Oh, Colo.
What is it? What is it about these ex-footballers that think that they can manage? They've not cut the cloth anywhere, have they? They've not done anything. yet they think they can manage because they were a name in football. You know, it's
What,
like
you mean like
your
Frank
Frank
Lampard?
exactly like your Frank Lampard and your Steven Gerrards and all the
And your
rest of
Gary
it.
Neville's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, well, you can. There's list of players, isn't there?
Yep.
What was he called? Was it United? Ince. Ince is another one. What's he called? Oh, he thinks everybody's won't hire him because of his colour, the colour of his skin. Played for Arsenal.
Sol Campbell.
Sol Campbell. Yeah, you know, he's the reason he's. And what is it with him? Why did he think just because they played football at a professional level that they're going to make a really good manager?
Look how many who've never played the professional game, what have made good managers, like your Mourinho's, etc. Your Arsene Wenger's. I think I agree, Riz. It's down to the person, how they are as a person, whether you're going to make
Any chairman that takes on your Frank Lampard or your Steven Gerrard or your Paul Ince or whatever, is taking it on because they think that because they're a big name, they'll be able to attract players. That's the only reason they're doing it.
But then again, look at Vincent Company, how he's doing.
Tell you what, these guys who've not played at the top level, there'll be one thing that they've all got in common. Well, two things. They'll either have a degree.
manage football clubs.
No, they'll either have a degree in PE or they've been a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
They've been taught how to communicate their ideas and get practically what you want somebody to do.
Yeah.
And that's all players want. You just want to have that crystal clear clarity in the mind that if I've got the ball here, what's going to happen there? And once I know that, I can fling the ball down there.
Yeah. And knowing that if you do what the manager's said to do, even if it goes wrong, the manager's said to do it. I'm doing what the manager's said.
Mm.
And if you can do that, footballers, I think, are quite simple creatures, aren't they? And, they want loads of money and a bit of love. And that's it.
And I think
Somebody to put a light bulb in for him.
Yeah, that as well.
And I think that is because Guardiola does that. He's not afraid of failing. He will do things. People call it, when we get beat, people will say, oh, you've overthought it. But because he's not afraid to fail, he will come up with things and try it. And when it works, it's genius. It doesn't always work, but more often than it will, because he'll think, hang on a minute, this has happened. So A, B, C, right, that'll happen. So I need to do that. I'll just check A and B in this game. It's worked. Right, we'll go A, B, C in that game. Oh, it didn't work. Right, okay, I need to rethink that. And that's what he'll do. And he'll do that all season. And he's not bothered about one game. He'll do it.
We were bothered about one game.
We were,
weren't we, Paul?
We were, yeah. No, I mean, you're spot on. You're spot on, Stan. You're spot on with that. I mean, we've seen it where people have sort of having a go at Grealish when he first started the season. He was being told to do something. Mahrez has been told to do something. We've just touched on it in there with Rico Lewis. He's been told to do something. Now, that's all you can ask your manager. That's why Pep always says, don't blame the players. I got something wrong there. I did this wrong or I got that wrong. You don't say what he got wrong, but he says, that's my fault.
Well, he's controlling it all, isn't he?
Exactly. And he genuinely is controlling it. The players are doing, and they're fulfilling what he's asking. And when he gets it wrong, he blames himself because the players have done what he asked. It's when the players don't do what he's asked that he gets annoyed, I think.
Yeah. That message that he's sending, he'll send Jack Grealish out, or Riyad Mahrez, for 5 matches. And if they do what he says, he'll say to them, don't care what them in the crowd
yeah.
What I'm telling you. They don't know what I'm asking you to do.
Yeah.
You're doing it. Just because you're getting the ball in and he can't finish, I'm going to be having a word with him for not being able to finish. Right? But you're getting the ball in that channel as and when I want it. That's it. That's why you're still in the team.
Yeah.
He's not passing the ball and this isn't happening and that's not happening. Not going to happen overnight. You've got to work on it and you've got to keep going and you've got the tricky problem of having an opposition who sat down, they've had some other brain box, think, hang on a minute, when he does this happens. So you're up against equals who can figure things out and they will stop you doing it. So you've got to not only be able to have the confidence in yourself to do it, So I said, what the Pep said, you've also got to have it to overcome what a defender who's had it in his ear all week. Do not let him go on his left or right foot. And that's what happens, isn't it? And if somebody can do that, and they can do what he's asking them to do, he's not bothered whether it's the North Stand, South Stand, Family Stand.
Won't be the family stand. No,
Well,
it's
you wouldn't have heard them. They're reading the books.
I'll throw that in at the end, but that's what he'll do. And he'll say,
You're right.
"You're not the manager. I am. Listen to me." And
Yeah, it's like Haaland now, isn't it? Every team's putting 2 on him all the time. That's why he's not scoring the goals he was doing.
They'll find a way.
Oh yeah, they will do.
And that's what's going to happen next for. They'll say, right, we've got 2 here. Where's the gap?
Yep.
Once
There's an overlap somewhere.
there's a gap somewhere. Once we twig that, Erlen, if you go left, we'll overload the left. They think you've got 2, but if we've got 2, they won't be expecting that. And then there's a space over here.
Stan, do you reckon Pep does call him Erling?
Probably Mr. Haaland if he's got a brain.
No, seriously. So the transfer window closes on Tuesday. We've made a couple of signings, haven't we? You know, nothing to set the world alight. Can you see anything happening between now and Tuesday? Close the play, Marie?
No.
2 things have happened that I'm pleased about that will continue to boil the yellow stuff. We'll be getting around 10 million for Porro, who's never played for us, because he's getting signed to Tottenham for around 30 million. So we've got an add-on clause for that. And we'll be getting some more for another lad. Do you remember that Ilic, the Yugoslav lad or Croatian, whatever it is? He's going as well. So there'll probably another couple of million there. So there's Perron signed, not just for 3, but for 3 plus 7 million. Because we've got absolutely top class scouting network. I
love Peroni. I got ratted up last night.
I knew that would come.
I think being serious, we need a bit of a boost with a signing to freshen it up a little bit, because there's just as I said earlier, there's just something slightly lacking. I don't know what it is. We're not playing brilliant. I just think we need.
So what would you go for? What position?
Midfield.
Seriously.
What, Jude Bellingham?
Why not go for it? It's not going to happen between now and Tuesday, by the way. But you know, we need something there, because, in my humble opinion, Gundogan's been one of my favourite City players of all time. I just think, I just think he oozes class, but he's not the Rolls Royce he has been. Whether that's because he's head somewhere else or he's worrying about how many noughts I'm going to put on my new contract at City. I think he'll be gone anyway. Bernardo, yeah, he played all right when he come in the other day on Friday, but he's not the Bernardo we've been used to. Phillips, sorry,
No, yeah.
I question that signing, and I've seen nothing to sway me the other way. De Bruyne, a little bit out of form. Is that because what we spoke about earlier? Lewis is taking a bit of that space up. We're relying on Rodri, who's a Rolls Royce. If we got God forbid, if we got an injury to Rodri, I think we would really, really suffer in midfield.
Couldn't Pep train John Stones to play Rodri's role?
No, because he's out with an hamstring.
He wouldn't play as much, would he? He wouldn't get injured as much.
Where would you prefer John Stones, centre back or centre midfield? Centre back every day of the week. That'd weaken our team in midfield.
Yeah, but we've got centre backs, haven't we?
We've not got the time with Stones. It might take him a good 6 months. Just leave him then.
Well, let's look at the centre backs then, John. Diaz, not really played for us, and it's no coincidence the 3 Portuguese players are totally out of favour at the moment.
There's a reason, isn't there?
Yeah.
We don't know, but there's a reason.
No, but there's something going on, and that's what I said earlier. There's something fundamentally wrong, but I think we need a bit of a bit. What?
With that idiot for a month, Ronaldo. Bloody hell, no wonder all 3 of them, their heads have been mad.
Yeah, and you know, Foden and the like have been with Waistcoat Man.
Yeah.
So
Foden's not,
same, innit?
Foden's not injured.
I don't think he is either.
There's something.
That's
And
what I'm saying. There's something.
The fact that we're thinking that something's not right and that he's not injured, doesn't that say something what we think about?
Mm-hmm. And that's my point. We need something freshen up because if Arsenal had been full strength on Friday night against our full strength, Arsenal would have beat us. I have no question about that.
Yeah, but you don't know that.
No, you don't know that.
I disagree. I don't. I didn't see anything from Arsenal that I thought, oh my God, these guys, yeah, they're going to win this league.
I think if Edison had played, we'd have lost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do.
The other thing is
We've not talked about that, have we?
Well, in Edison, our full strength.
Edison's full strength. No doubt.
So we weren't full strength, then, were we?
No, but that's what I'm.
No, but Andy said if we were at full strength and they were at full strength, they'd have won.
Right. Okay.
Which I disagree with. I think
we'd have drew 0-0.
I don't see anything that Arsenal offer. I don't see why everyone's so scared and is raving about them. There was nothing special. They weren't, oh my God, look at these. I can see why these are top of the league. I weren't overawed by them thinking, well, what a team these are.
This season,
I just thought they were very average.
This season, I think they look very, very much like City this season. You know, over the season so far, they've got that never say die attitude.
Yeah.
I think that the football is brilliant. You know,
the thing is, he didn't go full strength against us because he couldn't afford to.
The other thing,
because he's been playing the same team every game.
The team picks itself.
But Arteta's been playing that same team every game.
All he needs is a few injuries.
Yeah.
I think that's the crucial thing, Andy, that you hit the nail on the head to a degree that if they put out their full strength team, it's an 11. We can put an 11 from 16.
Weren't we saying that about Leicester when they won the league, though?
No, that was it. The stars were aligned, weren't they? The stars were aligned.
That was weird season.
You know, there was teams in transition. The big teams were in transitions. That was a fluke. He's proved it was a fluke.
But there's another thing.
Like Liverpool winning the league, that was a fluke.
Exactly. Look at them now.
There's another thing, that we never accept about our own team. You see it every week. If we play like this against so-and-so, we'll get beat. If we play like this against so-and-so, we'll get beat. And yet, we can step up ourselves. How do you not know that we were playing that level against on Friday? Because that's all we needed to do. We never got second or third year because we didn't have to.
I saw a video of one of the Arsenal fans saying, "Oh, you know, City will go away frightened of what they've seen with us." Yeah. Look, we played Arsenal at their best level. We can step up on two levels yet.
Exactly.
Yeah. More. We've not played well all season.
No.
To be honest.
So what makes you think we will improve playing better is out of curiosity?
I don't know because I'm not Pep Guardiola, but it's just, you know, what we've been talking about is, you know, I think it's mentality. It's not a physical thing. It's psychological. It's, you know, there's something not right in the club. And it's not down to coaching. It's not down to that. It's, you know, it's either, you know, but tired. You know, they're tired. They've been fighting like this for the last 4 or 5 years. You know, Liverpool, look at them. They're a shadow of themselves. I know Mane's gone and stuff, but they're a shadow of themselves. I think they're burnt out, Liverpool. You know, and I think City's having a bit of the same. You know, we've been fighting on all fronts for the last 8 years, haven't we?
Did you see that video with Kevin De Bruyne?
Yeah.
And he was saying about the inhalers.
Yeah.
He said, I know what Klopp goes on about now.
I've not seen that. No, what was that?
Oh, he was doing a video with some guy, and the guy says, he was chatting. He says, let me get me an inhaler. And then Kevin De Bruyne went, yeah, I know what Klopp talks about now.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There's another one, isn't there? So, I don't think it's. I think it's City's problem is City's problem's Haaland, and I'm not saying it's Haaland. It's we've signed Haaland, we've changed the system, we've been used to it. There are players that are coming to the end of their sort of City spell, if you like. New players. We're transitioning.
Yeah.
We're in transition.
And we're still in second.
And we're still second. We're through to the 5th round of the Cup. We're out of the Cup, the Carabao Cup, which was disappointing because we threw that away.
What cup is that? What cup is that, John?
The Caribou Cup.
Caribou.
Carabou, shall we do the fandango?
Go on.
The other thing as well is, why do I think we'll get better? Is because we do it every year. All this tinkering that Pep does up to Christmas and it is Christmas now. I know it's a year after, but it's a month later. But take out the World Cup. We're at Christmas time now.
Yeah.
Can I have my presents now?
Have his little look around. He knows what's what. And what he's focused on is making sure that come March, April and May, he knows what he wants in there. And he'll do it. Now, there will be games, the odd game, cup games. That's why we've not won the Champions League, but we can win the league because we will grind it out. We can grind out now and look 17 wins. We're starting we're going to have to do it again. And he will do it. He will grind it out. He knows he's right. He knows he's not right.
The only thing that'll stop us is VAR.
Yeah. And that's
out of our control, that, isn't it?
It is. And that's more dangerous than Arsenal. Tell you that now.
Yeah, it is.
Should I? No, better not show it. We're swearing.
What
was you going to say? VAR stands for victims and rags?
Yes, well, no, I've got something on my back that, yeah. It only comes out in match days.
So, Anne-Marie, do you think we need a bit of a lift before the transfer window shuts?
No, I kind of agree with John. I think we're going to get to that point where everything just clicks into place. And I've got every confidence that we'll win the league again this season.
But do you remember we all spoke about it before the World Cup, where we all universally said that we could see, like, there was two different games where Foden bottled out of a challenge and stuff like that. De Bruyne wasn't there. I think a lot of it is because we was underperforming because they all wanted to go to the World Cup and stuff, etc. And not just City as well, but I'm only bothered about, say, they've gone to the World Cup and they've not really had the best of World Cups apart from Alvarez, especially Belgium, etc. And they've come back, and it's hard to get yourself up to that level. And I think some of them will come back with a poor attitude, especially the Cancelo, Bernardo, and I should imagine Pep's not happy with Diaz because he played the full 90 minutes of their last game against Morocco, injured, and Pep can see that them players wasn't putting it in before the World Cup, and if they've come back with a poor attitude, I think that's why you're seeing the likes of Lewis getting a decent run in the team. Whereas,
great point.
Whereas normally you'd put Walker there every day of the week. I think Walker's just starting to get his head sorted now, and I think that's why he's getting more minutes. And I think some of them, especially the Portuguese trio, I don't think they're there with us at the minute.
I'll go one step further, Andy. Come the end of the season, when we win the league, the club will give Pep a nice big shiny present, and it will be called Jude.
Hey?
Bellingham.
Hey, Jude.
Yeah.
What, he's going to give him Paul McCartney at his birthday party? Oh, I hope not.
He can't sing anymore, can he?
Oh, I agree, Stan.
I think he ever could.
I think that's inevitable where Bellingham's going to end up, and that's not being blasé or big-headed as City fans saying he's going to end up with us, because we've not got a divine right to it. But I think it's just made there. His England mates. Everybody wants to work for Pep, don't they?
He's got his mate Erland there as well, hasn't he? Or Mr. Haaland, whatever you want to call him.
No, he's called Haaland. Cancelo's called Mr. Cancelo.
But they've got Nordic
meat shield.
You got him in there, and then you got Rico coming too. You got Foden, you've got Ireland, and all that. That's an unbelievable spine of under 23-year-olds.
Yeah.
That team can go on for another 5 years, and
Yeah.
The other thing that's worrying me is, will we find a De Bruyne replacement?
we will, because we found one for David Silva, we found one for Yaya Toure, we find them.
Who've we found for Yaya Toure?
We won the league.
No.
If you jump in, they don't have to be the exact same model, but they will find somebody that can do the job in the jigsaw to win the league, and they do it. Because we don't play like we did with Yaya. He's moved.
No.
Well, Rodri kind of replaced Yaya, hasn't he? But he's not the goal scorer Yaya was.
No, but you don't need to because you don't play that way. This is what I'm saying. That,
Yeah.
You'll find it a slightly different way and involve the team, and then we don't need a Yaya. We might not need the Bernardo Silva next time at the end of the year when we win the league and what have you. He might have moved it on. He might be doing what he's doing now to prepare the way for Jude Bellingham to come in, to say that, okay, we could have Rodri in there, we could have Jude just sat in front of him. This is why we don't mind hanging on to Gundogan for the year, and we can get rid of Bernardo because he'll get money and he can go to Barcelona.
Okay, here's one for you. Has Bernardo got to go in the summer? I'll start off with you, Stan.
He doesn't have to go, but I think he'll go because I think he wants to go. Do you know what I mean?
Is that a yes or a no?
Yeah.
I suppose it's a yes.
Celebrity John?
Yep, I think he should. I'm getting sick and tired of the little nigglings that keeps coming out with him, and
He's going like Yaya.
Yep, it's tarnishing his. Liverpool fans hate him.
There's a reason he should stay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But-
Riz?
Where is all these unhappy vibes coming from? Are they coming from him, coming from his agent, coming from in the know websites and stuff? I don't know. I can honestly say I've not seen any personally, but
Apparently, he's been talking to newspapers.
yeah, but that's apparently. So we're saying apparently here. So have we got any facts? Have we got a video of Bernardo Silva having an interview saying all these things?
You don't need
I'd say we haven't. So I would say that we're listening to paper talk. We're listening to the typical try to unhinge a player. Your scousers try to unhinge him and all the rest of it. So I've not heard anything to say from him that he wants to go, apart from he was wanting to go a couple of years ago. Then he wanted to go last year and Pep made him stay. But we've not got any facts here. So I don't want to see him go because I think he's still got a lot to offer the club. He came on Friday and he was, Zinchenko didn't have a clue. He didn't have a clue what he was going to do with him.
So is that a yes or a no?
I hope he doesn't go, and I genuinely don't think he will.
If he does want to go, have we got to force him to stay or just say
no? If he wants any player,
if he wants to go, you let him go. Yeah.
Any player wants to go,
Yeah,
let him go.
any player.
If it's Kevin De Bruyne, if all of a sudden
If it's Ireland, if he wants to go, let him go.
Don't want any of them. Yeah, not bothered.
I'm
not bothered because I'm confident we'll get a replacement.
Finally.
Finally, I'm going to save the best till last to answer that one. I think. Oh, sorry, Anne-Marie, I forgot you.
Yeah, you've not asked Anne-Marie yet.
Go on,
like he said, he's left the best till last.
I'll be honest. I'll be devastated if Bernardo goes. I love him.
If Mahrez goes,
He loves him.
I
will.
She said that about Mahrez.
No, I'll be throwing.
He's married now.
And he goes.
Hey, tell you what, lads, I think you've realised the dip in Bernardo's form.
Why say lads when there's clearly it's not full of lads on it, John?
I'll tell you why, because now Bernardo's found out that Anne-Marie has got the eye for him. I reckon old Mahrez has given him a bit of a beating round the back of the bike shed.
I reckon he'll get married really quickly when he finds out about Anne-Marie and get married quickly.
Mahrez. Are you having that?
John said. So before we go, guys, anything else?
Have we mentioned how quiet the family stamp is? mention that.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Say that again,
Alright.
Riz. Say that again, Riz.
But no. We've lost you, Riz. Can't hear you, mate. You've muted him now, haven't you? Unmute him.
Unmute yourself, Riz.
Unmute yourself.
Unmute
You've
yourself.
really messed him up now. He won't know how to do it. Oh, yeah,
There
he's
you
done
go.
it.
See.
Well
I
done.
say I've got technology, me. Wasn't me that was 20 minutes late because he couldn't reset his computer.
That's a
I can
first.
get all that midget porn.
It's not big and it's not clever, that.
I've seen that film.
Like,
It's
you're talking
very
about your
good.
little friend there, Andy.
I'm just not saying a word. Do you like the new bar sign, by the way?
Yeah, it says
Where is
bar.
It says bar, not VAR. It's the VAR bar.
Oh, the VAR bar.
VAR bar. So, anybody got anything before we skedaddle?
No.
Have a think about it if you want, Riz.
Yeah,
Anything about the referee for the Arsenal game? Did you think he was typical referee that we've had recently?
Yeah.
I think we should have had some penalties.
Tierney won it.
Yeah, it was Tierney.
We should have had more than a few free kicks that weren't given,
Yeah.
but were given the other way.
Yeah.
Oh, it's embarrassing. Embarrassing decisions. It's corrupt. We've discussed this.
Corruption. Corruption.
Corruption, my friend. It's corruption.
Right. When we do, are we going to do one on for transfer deadline day on a Tuesday?
Oh God, no, we'll be like Sky, won't we? Should we?
There'll be nothing for us to talk about, Andy. We're not buying anyone. We're not Chelsea, who's buying
Can make
every
it
man
up,
in
couldn't
his
we?
dog.
Sorry,
Why don't we
mother.
make it up?
Sorry, mother.
We'll do one if we sign somebody.
Yeah.
I think we should just do one anyway and make it up.
I'm not sitting here with you with the sex aid in your ear either, and somebody giving it the big that behind the back of your head.
What?
You know what I mean?
Danny, you all right?
Yeah. You not remember that one? Sky, with their transfer deadline day, and there was somebody outside the gates. And somebody come up behind you,
With an Ann Summers style thermos flask.
Right. So if I go down to the Etihad on Tuesday night, should I be doing it from outside the gates?
Yeah.
I just think I'll speak to you next Sunday, guys.
When's the next game? Can we talk about next games coming up?
Tottenham next Sunday.
Yeah, and Tottenham away.
Tottenham Sunday away.
That ground that we've never won at
Crap.
yet.
We're wheeling Dzeko out for one game up.
Oh, that was brilliant, that game.
Yeah, so we've got Spurs next Sunday. Listen, we'll have a better idea of things, won't we, but come this time next week.
Yeah.
Right,
Never mind.
have a fantabulous week, guys, and we'll do it all again next Sunday.
Marvellous.
Take care, everyone.
Cheers.
Take care. Stay safe.
Bye-bye now.